There was a boy named Ethan, born in a quiet rural town, surrounded by whispering woods and golden fields. From a young age, he was curious, hard-working, and full of dreams. But as he got older, something inside him began to fade. Each day at school, Ethan felt like everyone around him was better, faster, smarter, cooler. His once bright eyes began to search for his worth in others. Every achievement from someone else felt like a personal defeat, and the more he compared himself, the less he seemed to recognize his own value. By the age of 13, Ethan believed he was a failure. Whenever he got a good grade, someone else got a better one. When he ran, he was never the fastest. When he spoke, he thought his voice sounded silly. He began to withdraw, skipping opportunities, avoiding attention. A cruel voice echoed in his mind, "You're not enough." One morning, after silently breaking down in his room, Ethan decided to run away. He walked for hours, deeper into the forest beyond town, until he was lost among the trees. He sat by a still pond, completely alone, ready to give up. And that's when the unexpected happened. An old man appeared from the woods with a long beard and a walking stick carved from a branch. His eyes were calm, his steps silent. Ethan flinched at first, but the man simply smiled. "Looking for something?" the old man asked. "I'm trying to find myself, but I don't know who I am anymore," Ethan answered, his voice cracking. The man sat beside him. They listened to the wind in silence for a while before the old man pointed toward the pond. "Look at the water," he said. "Do you see the oak tree reflected there, and over to the side, the slender birch? They grow side by side, yet neither tries to be the other. The oak is strong and wide. The birch is tall and graceful. Both are beautiful because they are true to themselves." Ethan stared into the water, and for the first time in a long while, he didn't see just the shadow of others in his mind. He saw his own reflection. "But what if I'll never be like them?" he asked quietly. "Then you'll be you, and that's exactly who you're meant to be." The man tapped gently on Ethan's chest. "Comparisons are like trying to measure a song with a ruler. It doesn't make sense. Every person has their own rhythm, their own verse, their own timing." Inspired by the man's words, Ethan spent the next few days in the forest. He watched the animals, the trees, the wind. He noticed that ants worked without envying the flight of butterflies, that rivers flowed without wishing for the stillness of stones. The forest was a mosaic of unique lives, and each one belonged. When Ethan finally returned to town, nothing had changed, except him. For the first time, he stopped measuring his worth by the success of others. He studied to learn, not to win. He ran because he loved the feeling of the breeze, not the medals. And the more he embraced his own nature, the more people started to admire him, not because he was like them, but because he was fully, unapologetically himself. Years passed, and Ethan became a mentor for young kids in his community. Whenever someone felt lost in comparison, he would take them to the same quiet pond. There, he'd share his story, and in the reflection, he would help them see what they had forgotten, that they were enough all along. Final life lesson: never compare your chapter to someone else's ending. Your story is unique, and your path was never meant to be a copy of anyone else's. True strength doesn't come from outshining others. It comes from standing in your own light. The world doesn't need more copies. It needs the most authentic version of you.